Way down upon the Swanee River, far, far away. That's where my heart is yearning ever, home where the old folks stay. Home where the old folks stay.
Welcome to Florida Mint on Florida Man with Greg, Wayne, Josh, and Cameron, the podcast where Floridians discuss the crazy but true stories that always seem to take place in Florida. We really appreciate you guys reaching out during the week.
So many reaches out.
Yeah, like you sending in headlines,
Yes.
saying hello, sending in emails. We love you to the moon and back. And we've decided that we want to share some of the 5-star reviews on iTunes.
Wow.
Yep, 'cause
So
they-
kind of us.
Yeah, it is really sharing of us. Hey, thanks for listening. We're going to share your own reviews back to you.
Yes,
Yeah.
so if you're listening
This
and,
is called filler.
and you hear your review,
Let us know.
Yeah, reach out on social media, and then we're going to send you somebody else's review.
This is how great we are. Here
So
we
you
go.
can compare
You're
to somebody
welcome.
else.
Who else is doing this right now?
Exactly.
Nobody. So this one made me laugh and made me cry.
Oh, good.
It's from Kawood R.
Okay.
Okay.
And it says, awesome podcast.
Thank you.
Oh.
That was it.
Oh,
Nice.
Thanks.
Just teaser. I got more. Nothing like a nice warm bowl of malaria soup.
That's true.
Embarrassing headlines, a good old-fashioned Pokemon card burning,
Oh.
and Greg's hot takes on what it all means to make you truly love these Florida men.
Oh.
Their journey through Florida's history will make you crave the simpler times. A time when cars were bigger and so were the women.
We all miss those times.
Yeah, thank you,
Yes.
Kawood.
We
No.
all dream of bigger cars and bigger women.
Oh, that was a 5-star, too.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you heard your review read out loud, like I said, reach out to us. We're going to take care of you.
Mhm.
We love you. Appreciate you.
I don't know how you guys do it. I can't talk on mic and read something.
That's
I'm
incredible,
glad,
right?
I'm glad I don't have that responsibility.
Well, we also want to give a shout out to a sister podcast called The Three Broom Chicks. They are from Florida. They are phenomenal, and they are experts on Harry Potter.
Oh,
okay,
nice.
Okay.
The entire show is
Very clever.
Very clever.
clever.
they're amazing, amazing chicks. The show's really good. So check them out at Three Broom Chicks.
I sure will.
And let us know how much you love them. And now that we're on the subject of Harry Potter, we want to hear some headlines from Cameron.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
We
All right.
read off Harry Potter
What was the
headlines.
Harry Potter newspaper called?
The Potter field.
There wasn't one?
Why don't you go listen
There was
to
one.
The Three Broom Chicks to
Oh,
find
okay.
out.
That's good.
What a
There we
play.
Because
go.
remember Harry turned it and he's all serious, face moving?
No, that's true. I do
Thank
remember
you.
that.
Thank
It was
you.
called the New York Times.
Okay, let's talk headlines.
Let's
Let's
do it.
talk them.
So, Josh,
Yeah.
what is your favorite McDonald's dipping sauce for chicken nuggets?
Wow.
I go classic BBQ.
BBQ, Wayne.
Wow.
Yeah.
I go hot mustard.
Hot mustard.
That's
yeah.
a popular one.
Mm.
It was my nickname in high school.
Thank
Hot
you.
mustard. Hot mustard Wayne. That's where that comes from?
Yep.
Jeez.
Have you guys ever had the sweet and sour sauce?
No.
Have you ever
I don't
had
venture past.
the sweet and sour sauce thrown at your face?
No.
Okay,
No.
so Florida man.
No, definitely
Okay.
not. Yeah.
Florida man arrested after pelting his girlfriend with McDonald's sweet and sour packets.
Oof.
Oh, they come in packets.
Yeah, so let's think about this
Rude.
for a second. They're not like little ketchup bags. They're little plastic.
They would hurt.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
dipping
yeah.
tray
They would
things.
absolutely
That's
hurt.
true. And depending on what side hits you, you could come around
Yeah.
with a laceration.
Yeah.
So this Florida man, Jesus Oscar Ferrer, 30 years old, attacked his girlfriend with whom he has a child, by the way.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this makes it even worse.
Okay.
In the
I like
couple's
that's how that was said.
yeah,
For whom he has a child.
in the couple's motel room in Tampa,
No.
Florida.
Uh,
So they had
times.
some kind of argument. He ended up throwing his sweet and sour sauce at his poor girlfriend. Some kind of struggle ensued, and he ended up leaving. Cops were called. He was arrested for
Good.
domestic battery.
Good.
Ah.
So
Here's the thing, though. He must have been really upset because they were really stingy with those sauces.
So you get
really
like
are.
one sauce. So
Well, you
Yeah.
don't even try that Chick-fil-A. Nobody's throwing Chick-fil-A sauce.
no.
let's
Nobody
be
would
honest.
waste it.
Yeah.
Anyone who
Nobody
goes to
wastes
Chick-fil-A isn't being violent.
Uh,
You know what I mean? Like,
Those are God's people.
Unless they show up on Sunday. And they're like,
That's true.
Oh, crap.
So next headline.
okay,
A Florida man in Fort Lauderdale
Okay.
it's a good city.
cuts the brakes
Oof.
on multiple electric scooters around the city.
Ooh,
Okay.
So- Let me kind of break this down because the first thought is I don't remember the last time I saw an electric scooter.
no,
no, not in our little rink-dink town.
Well,
Nuh-uh.
since April in Fort Lauderdale,
Yeah.
140 scooters have been tampered with.
there's
Okay.
140 scooters.
You know, that's the thing. Them big cities, they get them scooters. You
Okay,
pay-
so
you pay with
that's
your
the
phone?
thing is there is rental companies that you can these little tourist cities that you can go to.
Oh.
You can basically they're all over the street,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
in little kiosks.
Birds, yolks.
Right,
They're called multiple things.
right.
What? That's the name of the scooters.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh,
They,
Oh, okay.
they all have little short names.
All right. So, anyways,
Yeah.
Josh knows more about it than
so
I
you
do.
hop on your, you're riding through town.
Yes. This
Okay.
is true.
So, anyways, there's little kiosks all over the city.
Google it. Jeez.
I will.
I don't think you should actually. That's a risky Google.
Scooter.com.
Okay.
Just go there.
Nobody go there. Nobody do
We
that.
gotta buy it. Go on, Cam.
Okay, so there's multiple kiosks around the city with these scooters that you can rent.
Right.
You can just put your credit card in
Uh-huh.
and take the scooter around for the day or for however many hours you end up
Yes.
renting it. Well,
They don't. You don't have to put them back though. That's I believe the problem with
Okay.
the locals.
they
Right.
just
You don't have to bring it back to the kiosk. You leave it. Someone else on an app finds where one is and rents it and drives it however they want to.
okay. So that explains why they're just all over the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, and I guess it's become a problem with like locals.
Uh-huh.
They hate them because these tourists will come in and drive them
rent a
crazy
ski-
in the street or on the sidewalks, just leave them everywhere. Well, I guess Randall Williams, who is 59 years old, had enough and started vandalizing them. And basically, he was cutting the brakes of these scooters, like disengaging the brake system,
Okay.
which I don't know what that would do if you are driving in the street. All you're going to do is actually cause more issues. So apparently, he's just really against these scooters
Wow.
or the people that use them.
Now, I mean, when you're on a scooter and you're
Yeah.
scooting,
Uh-huh.
you're barely going what 3.5, 4 miles.
No,
an
these
hour.
things go like 12 miles an hour.
Are we talking like you sit down and you're scooting?
No,
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 this
like
is
a
stand up.
standing electric scooter.
Okay, let's take it back to old days. Picture a razor scooter.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
that's what I'm picturing in my head.
Bigger,
Okay.
a little bit bigger,
With a motor on it, basically.
with a motor on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Electric
still,
motor.
Okay. So my point being is if you don't have brakes,
Yeah.
you can just kind of put your foot down, Flintstone style.
Yes.
One would think, but I think you would find out at some point that you don't have brakes.
Oh, the time that you needed brakes.
Yeah.
God. Okay. I see. What
I
you're
don't
saying.
know. It doesn't really make any sense. That's the whole thing is like this guy is going around just cutting brakes off 140 scooters.
Let me tell you what. Old guy, white, I guarantee it.
Yeah, I was about to say it's probably some guy who was
Old
there.
Caucasian.
He was
Yeah,
there
he has
before.
nothing else to do. Yeah, Fort
Right.
Lauderdale is pretty well off,
Right.
retired community.
He
I
moved
mean,
down there. He wanted peace and quiet, and you
Yeah.
got people scooting around town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Even though
that's
silently. 'cause
really
they're
all it
electric.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just annoyed by him. So.
But he walked out of the bar, tripped over one. Now he has vendetta.
What's his name again?
Randall Williams, Randall Thomas Williams. He sounds
Easily.
like he would cut
We've only got
brakes.
space for one person in the corner this week in Greg's
Do we?
shame corner.
Yeah. Small shame corner.
Yeah.
It's a small shame corner. Greg gets pretty antsy. He sleeps there. Greg sleeps there.
He's got
Yes.
a pretty tight schedule on it though. Who's coming in and out?
right. So I think Randy, what's his name? Randy Williams?
Randall Thomas Williams.
Randall Thomas Williams.
Yeah.
He's in the shame corner this week
Yeah.
for 72 hours.
Mhm.
Okay.
Shame on you for cutting those scooters out.
Yeah.
Start the clock for him.
Yeah, that's starting now.
Shame.
I got a letter today
Okay.
in email form.
Yep.
And this was pretty good question. Pretty creative.
Okay.
Guys, you put out a lot of episodes.
Thank you.
Featured a lot of people.
Thank you.
Of all of those, which one it's mandatory
Okay.
or you go slip inside hell.
Okay.
You have to switch places with and hopefully live up to what they did. Could you fill in their shoes,
Okay.
but you're starting at age 10 and you're them.
Oh, okay. So we're like trading lives with
Yes.
one of our past stories.
You, as a human being, your body would still go on and
Okay.
live.
Okay.
So don't think about like, oh, my kid. You know?
Right. So we're going into a separate dimension
Yes.
where we're going to be one of the Florida men we've talked about.
Yeah, I chatted with this person because I was like, you got to give me some more. 'Cause,
Sure. Okay.
What would my body do? You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I always ask, what
Okay.
would my body do here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't you ask that a lot to my sister?
What does my body do
What does
here?
somebody do here?
Yeah.
Whenever you guys are planning dates and stuff.
Yeah. And
Cool.
she goes, you have to drive.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So who would I be?
We got what, 44?
44 episodes. I would definitely be back in episode 28. We talked about Tony Terracino.
Mhm.
Okay.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Well, this guy basically like he got like beat up at a young age and like,
Cool, sounds good.
Ran away from home.
Yeah.
Could
But
you get beat up? At a young age?
Right. And so he goes down to South Florida, ends up being successful at like everything he does.
Okay. Bar owner.
Opens up a really cool
Yep.
bar, hangs out with like presidents, discovers Jimmy Buffett.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
I feel like honestly, like that would just be the ideal life. Like he was a bar owner for 30 years of his life and basically just like crushed it and met a bunch of famous people. So
Okay.
that sounds fun.
so
I would do
that's
that.
Good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, a life of vice. a
Bar
life of
owner.
sin.
Wow. Really
Sure, wow, throwing
big
really-
dreams, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, you guys know how I live.
We do. One hand on the sauce.
Yep.
Yep. One hand on the sauce, the other hand on the steering wheel.
Oh, is that that's a McDonald's soy.
Yeah,
soy-
I've been watching a lot of
Sweet-
Fast and the Furious for the first time.
Yep.
So all my references are about
Oh,
driving.
man.
Oh, geez.
It's so good.
I figured it was a sweet and hot, whatever that sauce
Sweet and
is.
sour?
Sweet and
No,
sour reference.
no.
All right. So
Cam Daddy.
back. This is going way back to episode 7.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, come on.
Hello.
I know
that one.
How were we back then?
Not good. So episode 7,
gosh.
Monkey Island.
Come on.
So this is where Colonel Tui,
That's right.
Who looked like a colonel, right?
That's right. He did.
yeah,
I do.
in our heads at least.
Yeah.
Colonel Tui basically brought a bunch of monkeys
Yeah.
to Florida.
Yeah.
set
Put
up-
him on an island.
Yeah, put them on an island, set up Silver Spring. So honestly, that sounds like a great job. If I could create a park
Uh-huh.
in a springs just full of monkeys,
You remember these monkeys?
I mean, it sounds like so much fun.
They left the island, though. He
Yeah.
didn't set up nothing.
And they also spread like herpes around the
Well,
state.
I could do a better job.
He could do a better job
That's
of
what I'm
doing that.
saying. I could
do a better job spreading
I could control the monkeys.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay.
He could control the outbreak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah,
I could set up a monkey paradise
that's true.
where they keep
I
their,
believe that.
their hepatitis to themselves.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe that because here's the thing. I if anybody knows Cameron, he's great outdoors. He's great with like
Yes.
camping. He's basically an expert. So I could see him before bringing the monkeys in, being like, okay, this needs to be up to code because that guy,
Monkey
Colonel,
code. Yeah.
Yeah.
Colonel
Here's your
Tui-
tent, monkey number 1.
right?
Yes.
Colonel Tui did not do that.
No. I think Cam would have tested out with one monkey,
Mm-hmm.
put him on the island, see
Right.
what he did.
But like
Yeah.
a big one, maybe like a gorilla.
Definitely.
A big monkey.
Yeah. Not an example of what he would bring.
Right.
He brings a completely different species.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Gotta go big or go home.
That's it.
This is what I say. Okay, fellas.
Okay.
So I went a different direction.
You did.
Yes. I went to episode 23.
Okay.
Okay.
What is that off the top
I
of your
have
head?
no idea.
Nobody knows.
Don't be an Ed Ball.
Oh,
The guy that
that was a
real-
negative one. We
I
hated
thought
that
I
ball.
would change history,
Oh no.
do positive things.
Ah.
Because if you remember that whole episode, I thought he would turn it around at the end.
He never did.
That's right.
And he never did.
Because Ed Ball did a lot of terrible things, and the entire time, Josh was like, "But maybe, and
Yeah,
That's
he'll,
true.
But maybe.
he'll change his life."
Mm-hmm.
That's what my shirt says. It says, but maybe, in quotes, dash Josh.
Right. And
From
so
that
you would be a good guy.
Yep. Yeah, I would take his money, his inheritance that he
Uh-huh.
got, and just turn his life around.
That's a really honestly, I love how honorable Josh's was.
I
Yeah.
had
And
a
then
week to think about
I'm
it.
like, I want to run a bar, hang out with famous people. Cameron wants to hang out with monkeys
Yep.
on an island.
My
No.
question is, Josh, why don't you just turn your life around right now?
Jesus.
Wow. I think I'm there. I'm
Salvation moment right
okay.
now. Right here in the studio.
Stumped.
Yeah, goodness gracious.
Got to do a lot of introspection now.
Yep.
Dude, that was a great letter. And thank you
Good
to
question.
whoever sent that in. Yeah, for sure. And honestly, like, if you are interested in those episodes, we dig you guys going back and listening to the old stuff. And
Don't go too far back.
don't go too far back. You'll notice a difference. But yeah, we appreciate that.
That was George from Washington, actually.
Oh, okay.
George from Washington sent that in.
That's what he wrote. I don't know.
Well, hey, shout out to him, man.
But he signed it
Thank
all
you,
like
George.
calligraphy, like with a
So
feather
weird.
quill.
What
Yeah.
a fancy gentleman.
He really is.
Elijah Hand was born July 20th, 1855 in Shelbyville, Indiana.
Oh, and
1855
Mm-hmm.
182.
at least.
If he was alive today, he would be at least 182 years
Easily.
old.
Easy.
Elijah had two brothers, Oscar and Townsend, which is a
Cool.
cool
Wow.
name. That's a
Yeah.
really cool name.
Yeah.
And together they were always getting into trouble.
Is your kids, is that name solid? Is that stuck?
Mine? Yeah.
You
You-
can't
you
change it to
could- you
Townsend.
can't?
Townsend.
It's too late.
Is it?
I'll have to talk to my wife.
It's good.
Okay.
So they weren't robbing banks or anything, but they were definitely the neighborhood pranksters.
Uh-huh.
Kind of real mischief makers.
Throwing oranges at cars.
Yeah, and it happened so much that after the fourth time the police brought him home,
Oh.
Elijah's father was like, "Okay, I got to do something about this."
Mhm, mhm.
Um,
It's butt whipping time.
It
Right.
is, yeah.
But because Elijah was the oldest one, his parents saw him as the responsible party. And so his father said, like, hey, enough of this. You're not a child anymore. You're going to quit school and come work for me.
Mm,
Okay. Well,
I'm gonna-
I think that's standard.
yeah.
Back in
was
that day, that's like
1855?
standard
Yeah.
punishment.
Yeah,
He's lucky he made it that long. In school.
4 years old?
Yeah, I'm going to make a man out of you.
Yeah.
Elijah's father was a carpenter. And since it was a small town, he was basically responsible for like any carpentry needs that
Pews.
arise. Like
Mhm.
everything. Right.
What else, Cam?
Probably some baskets. Maybe.
Poop stoop?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Old poop stoops.
So it really benefited the family to have Elijah come on board because they were always busy.
Welcome on board.
Yeah. Welcome to the team, kid.
Here's your
Here's your hammer.
Here's your W-4.
Here's your monthly paycheck. But basically, he was so good at the job
Whoa.
that people started requesting him as often as his father.
Oh,
That has to be
Competition.
awkward for the father.
I think so. Yeah. It's a test of character.
You'd rather have my 9-year-old than me.
Yeah.
Got it.
I mean, I never said he was 9, but I mean, he's
We're
I
assuming.
assume
He's not
put
a
to
full-
work. He's probably 5 to 9.
Yeah.
he's not a full grown man, at least.
Okay.
But one day after, it was a few years after he got the job, Elijah's father got sick and he couldn't work.
Mhm. So he's 12 now.
He's 12 now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a life-threatening illness or anything, but he was sick enough to not go to work for a while. And so Elijah was running the family business completely on his own.
Uh-oh.
And on the first day that he was working alone, a gentleman in town named Gerald Levy passed away.
Mm.
Oh, Gerald. That's a nice name, too,
Mhm.
Cam.
And so Gerald's wife came to see Elijah and asked, like, is it possible if you could build a casket by tomorrow?
Oof.
Because we're going to bury him the following morning.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
wow,
so-
they do everything.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so Elijah he'd never built a casket, and so, but he agreed to do it because no one else in town could. That was that was his job.
Jeez.
And so it took him around 10 hours, but he was able to get it done that day before nightfall. And once he got it loaded up on the wagon to deliver it, it kind of like set in like what he had done. Like,
Yeah.
because-
What it's for?
yeah, like prior to building that, like he had just done like chairs and tables and beds,
Baskets.
poot scoops.
Where living people go.
Right. This was the first time like a job emotionally weighed on him.
Man, yeah, that would weigh on me.
Mhm.
That's so sad I make my glass eye cry.
Yeah.
Did y'all know?
No, I
45 episodes in.
I mean, I've been looking at it every now and then.
I thought you were always staring at me.
I just want to keep eye contact on both of you.
I see now. That's great.
Oh, jeez.
So so it hit him pretty hard, you know, what was happening. And so, but it was kind of like at that moment where like he realized he didn't want carpentry to just be like a normal job for him. Like he wanted to help people.
Oh, okay.
And so like specifically the families of people who just passed away. And so he continued running the family business until his father was back on his feet.
Mhm.
But as soon as he was able, he sat down and told his parents, like, look, I want to be an undertaker.
Oh, geez.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I just thought it was
Not a casket maker.
casket maker.
Right, no. And so, well, back in that day, that's technically what was supposed to happen. The Undertaker was going to be the casket
Okay.
maker.
Wow. Okay.
Kind of
and-
all of
One-stop shop.
Right, exactly. And so he basically was like, look, I'm going to leave town and I'm going to study to be a mortician.
Jeez.
And one day I'm going to open up my own funeral home.
Goodness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so he did just that. He received a certification in mortuary sciences.
Uh-huh.
But one thing that he learned about while he was away was this process called embalming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
Okay.
obviously it's like standard now, but like back then it wasn't. It was actually a really rare.
Ooh, exotic.
Yeah, exactly. And so in the Civil War era, if you died,
Yeah.
your family would actually put you on a bed surrounded by candles to kind of mask the stink.
Oh,
Which is ironically enough like what my sister does to Josh every evening.
That's just around my feet.
Puts him on the bed surrounded by candles.
I don't like socks, and it's not for the stink. It's our nightly.
it's going to be a
ritual.
lot of candles.
Uh-huh. So Elijah Hand was completely
Did
fascinated.
you
about-
write that joke in?
I did.
Jesus.
I did. I did.
It
Yeah.
didn't happen in a moment of spontaneity.
No, I was pretty proud of it actually.
Jeez, that is ridiculous.
It took, and honestly, it was hard all week to not text you and tell you. I just wanted to
You
be.
usually text me
man.
cut downs.
I know. I
So
wanted
I'm
it to be
surprised.
genuine. But at this point in American history, if you were a mortician who could offer the embalming process, you were like state of the art.
Mhm.
Whoa.
That was a pretty big deal. And so
Okay.
the only issue was, in order to make a living doing this, Elijah realized he was going to need to move to a bigger city.
Naturally.
Not enough death, huh?
They're not in
enough
his
death.
small
He
town.
always said that.
He always said that.
Not enough business.
Everybody's living around here. Don't like it.
Something's wrong with this town.
Yeah.
Too many living people.
So in 1885, Elijah Hand moved to Orlando, Florida.
Oh,
Wow.
a lot of death down here.
Yeah.
So he opened up Florida's first funeral home that also operated as a furniture store.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's oddly
Okay.
very specific.
He doesn't let his hobbies.
No, so
Escape
it was
from-
furniture downstairs, funeral home upstairs.
So you come
Okay,
in,
wow.
hi, are you here for a new couch or somebody passed away?
Why?
and they're like, well, while I'm here, I'd like a rocking chair.
Yeah.
But it's not like a tight town. Like property is still. Why go vertical? Why can't you have it next to it?
I think
Why
the,
be on top?
the building he bought was 2 stories. He was just like, let's do it.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Okay, there's the easy.
he was trying to
Yeah.
he was trying to make that money, you know. But the place was a huge hit because Orlando was a growing city, and Elijah Hand was the only mortician.
Hold on.
Wow.
What's on top?
What did they do before?
So the bottom floor is the furniture store. The
What?
top floor is the funeral.
Why
home.
have the heavy stuff up top?
Well, I think it's because if you want to buy a chair, you don't want to walk through a bunch of dead bodies first.
Okay, maybe so.
Yeah.
Come
But
on, Josh.
Well, I was picturing outside stairs.
Yeah.
well, he's also the only one doing the embalming process, like in the area.
Jeez.
So, like, this was like I said, state of the art thing.
Okay.
There's only one problem in this new town where he was at in Orlando. People were dying faster than Elijah could find space for them.
But what did they do before? If he's the only mortician
Now
in
he's
the
Body
town?
storage.
They just got dumped out and buried.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh.
this is like a turning page in history where things are becoming more civilized.
This place is swamp.
And Cameron loves Storage Wars, so that's a dangerous game.
It
to
is.
play now.
So, well, on a normal day, like if you were to walk upstairs in the funeral home part, like you would see like bed after bed with a dead person in it, right?
Mm.
Being embalmed or
And
kind of
carved though, wooden beds.
yeah, or waiting to be buried. But in a busy season, like if it was
Oh,
like
gosh.
wintertime, people were getting diseases and stuff. If you walked into the furniture store
Oh
downstairs,
God.
there was a really good chance you would also see a dead body on like a table
No.
or in a rocking
Okay.
chair
Oh gosh.
Okay.
because there was
I
no
get it.
space for him upstairs.
Do you know how a real estate agent will prepare a house
Right.
so you can picture yourself in it?
Yeah, exactly.
I assume it's just a sales technique.
It's the same
They
thing.
didn't
right?
have mannequins yet.
No.
Look how comfortable he is. He's sleeping.
Well, in April, yeah.
What's all the candles for?
I know. Just decorations.
Ambiance.
Yeah, it's decorations. In April of 1887, something really strange happened. One of Elijah's employees came upstairs to let him know there was a family that has come in to see him.
Mhm.
Okay.
So he comes downstairs. He sees a man and a woman waiting for him, and they let him know that their 20-year-old son, Abraham, had drowned on a fishing trip, and they had brought his body in to Elijah the day before.
Mm.
Oh.
And so basically what happened, they were dropping off a new suit for the funeral. They were bringing by a
Okay.
suit for him.
Okay.
And they wanted to see their son, for the last time before the
Oof.
ceremony. And so Elijah told his employee that he said, look, I know exactly where the body is at upstairs.
Yeah. I hope so.
So he led the couple up there himself to see the son.
Yeah.
The only problem was
Okay.
When they arrived, his body was gone.
Oh no, here we go.
Elijah and his employees,
Okay.
they searched the entire property.
Jeez.
And they double checked every corpse on the premise.
What about every rocking chair?
Well,
Ooh.
but their son Abraham's body was nowhere to be found.
What?
Okay, you got a 2-story building and a recently passed person.
Right.
Uh-huh.
I don't think they were recently passed.
Well,
Scheme.
that's
You think
actually
they walked
it
out?
could be one of the theories.
Is
But again, this is a particularly busy season, so every bed would have been full,
Uh-huh.
right?
Okay.
So, however, there was an empty bed upstairs.
No, jeez.
Jeez.
So-
Okay.
That's kind of what was odd about it, is because Elijah knew for a fact, like, I know I placed him there,
Yeah.
Yep.
and there's never a point where these beds are empty. Like this
Yeah.
every bed's always full. So obviously it was quite the scandal, but oddly enough, it didn't affect business because like people still had to die and be buried.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
It's
you
the
gotta
only
People
place
still
to
needed
go,
furniture,
right?
too.
So
It's either hire him or you gotta get to working on your own.
sure, exactly.
Nobody wants
The real problem was that now all of Elijah's employees kept experiencing really weird things, and they kept quitting.
that. Like taps. Don't say taps on the shoulder. If you say taps on the shoulder and nobody was there,
So one employee, a young girl named Elizabeth,
God, Jesus.
said that while she was closing down the furniture store one evening, I'm sorry, the evening before, she saw a man standing in the staircase but facing the wall.
Mhm.
Was
So
it
he
dripping?
wasn't like looking at her; he was like looking at the wall. When she called out to him, he didn't answer, but he walked up the stairs
Oof.
towards the mortuary.
Hmm.
So she assumed it was Elijah,
Mhm.
and so she just finished what she was doing and she went home,
naturally.
locked up the
Mhm.
place. The problem was when she tells Elijah the next morning, he says, "No, I had already gone home. That
Yeah.
definitely wasn't me. You were the only person in the building at the time."
Oof.
So upon hearing
Don't like
this,
where this is going.
Elizabeth quit. She's like, "No, thank you, not
Yeah.
doing this."
There's other jobs in this town.
Yeah. So another employee around the same time
Oh,
tells
goodness.
Elijah that while putting away the embalming materials one
Mhm,
night,
mhm.
he hears a voice behind him say, "I wasn't ready yet."
Oh,
Nope.
But when
don't like that.
when he turned around, all he saw were basically all the beds full of dead bodies.
Cadavers.
Right. And so all
He's
these
like,
stories,
I'm clocking out.
yeah, he's like, "I'm done with this." So all these stories are rough, but the one that Elijah said shook him to his core
Oh,
was the
goodness.
one he experienced himself.
Okay.
So one evening, while working late downstairs in the furniture store, Elijah decided to call it a night, and he went upstairs to make one last check on everything before going home.
Mhm.
Nish nish.
He said when he started up the staircase, he heard the sound of movement. And so he was like, "I'm alone in the building, but maybe one of my employees is still here or whatever."
Mhm.
So he goes upstairs, but when he reached the top of the stairs and turned the corner, there was the unmistakable image of a person standing next to an empty bed.
Oh gosh.
Again, an
Okay.
empty bed being the signal that something's,
The
something's not
declarer
right.
of
Somebody's
the
missing.
dead.
Right.
Yeah.
So all the beds were supposed to be full, and so Elijah, he fled the building so quickly that on the way down the stairs he tripped
Oh, gosh.
and broke his wrist.
Oof.
And he said that the pain should have caused him to hesitate, but the sound of quickly approaching footsteps
No.
Oh
from
my gosh.
upstairs
Nope.
They're just
Mm-mm.
trying to be helpful.
motivated him to flee the
Sir,
building.
Sir.
Let us help.
So he leaves the building screaming that night.
Oof. Oof.
So multiple people come out of their homes and their businesses
That's not good for business.
to try,
That's-
to try
When
and
you
help them.
see,
the proprietor.
Yeah, running out screaming.
Ah.
So the cops are called. They go inside. They investigate. They find no one on the property. But the chilling thing is, all the beds are full when they go in there.
Okay. Okay.
So Elijah goes in to kind of confirm it, and he swears up and down, like, "I'm not losing my mind." Like,
Yes.
one of the bed was empty.
Good start to October, Wayne. Good choice.
Thank you. So Elijah eventually, he recovered from the broken wrist, and he continued to operate his furniture store and funeral home. He got married and he had children. And over the years, he trained his oldest son, Kerry, to take over the family business,
Okay.
which Kerry did until 1945, when he actually sold the building, and the building became a daycare.
what?
Okay.
What
Uh-huh.
person in the
Okay,
right mind would put a daycare
what
in a funeral home?
Business is the worst to go after
Good Lord.
a funeral.
I think a daycare.
I think a daycare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think any other business would be worse.
that
No.
daycare eventually was sold,
Okay.
and it became a school.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
my gosh.
School would have been up there in my top 10 if we were on Family Feud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they nailed both of them.
Yeah.
And so it turns out teachers were quitting at an alarming rate because they kept feeling cold spots all over the upstairs portion.
Poor kids can't quit though. They're stuck in there.
Yeah.
You got to learn.
Yeah.
That's why all the kids were
You're
quitting.
gonna learn today.
They were quitting to work for their parents.
Yeah.
Everything was haunted. I was terrified. But eventually, the Elijah Hand building was sold again But this time it was bought by a family who's from out of town. They're new to Central Florida,
Got him.
and it was
That's
bought.
who you go
It was
for.
bought in the 1990s.
What?
Because no one really wanted it.
Yeah.
It was kind of spooky, right?
Yeah.
It was turned into a nightclub
Oh,
called the Blue Room,
okay.
and it was really successful. But here's the issue: it quickly became known as the haunted nightclub downtown.
God.
I mean, that has a specific appeal to it.
But they weren't promoting it that way.
Oh, okay.
They were
gosh.
trying to keep the history hush hush.
Yeah.
No, I can't
And
do
So
that.
you want word of mouth when you're a business, right?
Sure, but not like that.
Not like that.
So people who were going to kind of party and have a good time,
You're dancing on the dance floor, and all of a sudden you look back. There's nobody actually
What's a
there.
haunted
but
dance club look like?
I don't
mean,
know.
what's the-
but I like the idea of what Cameron just said: a ghost grinding on you,
Yeah,
and then you turn around.
there's nobody there.
They're gone.
Oh, wow.
Spooky boy.
You're like, I like where this is going.
He's,
And
he's
then
like, I wasn't ready yet.
let me meet my gentleman caller.
Goodness gracious.
What?
And so basically the owners of the Blue Room nightclub,
Mhm.
they had an 8-year-old son
Oof.
who would always come hang out during the day while their parents were working. And there was a manager on site
Uh-huh.
who managed the nightclub named Amanda Carson. And she would kind of take care of the 8-year-old boy and hang out with him
Oof.
during the day.
Yeah, that sounds like employers. Like,
Right.
Hey, you got this job. Oh, yeah.
Can you watch my kid?
A
Yeah,
month
also-
later.
Right. So one day, Amanda was playing hide and seek with the boy.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
this is not going to
Come
go
on.
well.
And Amanda was startled when no matter how hard she looked,
Oh, gosh.
she couldn't find the child anywhere.
Oof. Man, he was good.
Right. So
Champion.
she says she looked for over 20 minutes
Uh-huh.
before she begins like panicking and calling his name loud enough to draw attention. The owners of the club come running and she admits to them like, hey, we're playing hide and seek and I can't find him anywhere.
Mm.
Like, I don't know where he went. And so the three of them plus other staff members, they start looking everywhere and they end up upstairs.
Oh, no.
And there's a closet up there.
Oh, goodness.
And so they open the closet and they find the boy and he's smiling from ear to ear.
Oof.
And when they
Nope.
ask him, they ask
Mm-mm.
him like, where have you been? Like, we've been looking for you. He said, my friend Abraham helped me hide,
Oh,
Okay.
don't like that.
which
Don't
is the
like
name of
that.
the guy
Yeah,
originally
the kid.
Oof,
who disappeared.
Oof.
So shortly after these events, the Blue Room nightclub closed its doors for good. And as of now, the Elijah Hand building is currently abandoned.
No way.
It is the frequent stop on multiple ghost tours
Still
in Orlando.
standing.
And it is visited by paranormal hunters from all around the world
Okay.
hundreds of times a year.
Don't think so.
Nope.
Don't get any ideas,
It's
fellas.
listed as one of the most
Josh
haunted
wants to go.
places in the States.
Mm-mm.
But that is the story of Elijah Hand and the haunted funeral home that also
Wow.
operated as a furniture store
And a daycare,
And
a
a
daycare.
school.
a nightclub.
and a nightclub
And a nightclub.
Oh,
where you can get grinded on by a ghost.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, ghost grind. Yeah.
yeah. I was a dance in high school.
Yeah.
The ghost grind.
The
The
ghost
ghost
grind.
grind. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Some
But
salsa
honestly,
root.
I think what bothers me the most is like it could very potentially just be that like maybe someone miscounted one time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It
Or
started
like
this
maybe
whole
he
thing.
maybe he did lose a body and then was like, crap. Like, you know what?
The bodies can't stay in bed forever. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe somebody actually got buried and he
This is true.
miscounted.
It could be that, but then when the parents come looking for the boy, that's what they come looking for Abraham to bring the suit,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't find the body anywhere. Like,
Yep.
Well, and then 50 years later, Abraham helped this kid hide.
yeah,
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah,
thing
so
is
it's kind of-
spooky ooky.
Mhm.
I don't care for it, but
You
I-
wouldn't think, you wouldn't think an Abraham would be into modern dance music.
you wouldn't think so.
No.
But it sounds like he was having a good time
It does.
at the Blue Room dancing.
Bless him.
But it's been a great week, and if you are listening for the first time,
Wow.
most of our stuff is not spooky. We're doing some special stuff for the Halloween season.
Mhm.
And it won't be too crazy. This is about as bad as it's going to get.
Yeah.
We're going to focus on some of the weird things in Florida and just have a good time. But we do appreciate you tuning in to the
Yeah,
show. I meant to
sure.
say tuning in,
Mm-hmm.
No,
but I said turning in.
turning in, turning down.
Absolutely. So get turned. If you want to,
Ghost grind.
Ghost friend. If you want to hang out with us online, it's at fmofm.com.
Hit the ghost grind button.
Lots of
Ghostgrind.com.
and also our social media is FMOFM Podcast
Yeah.
across all the platforms. We love you. We appreciate you.
Yeah, so much.
And we'll see you soon.
I'm not ready.